Yeah, this is one that all the athletes will be talking about after the race and sharing stories.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking the ambulance. There's an infield care center here, so I'm sure that she will be getting looked at right away.
So we're commentating the race yesterday, and the last thing we hear is Emma's unconscious. Then the camera goes and there's an ambulance, but the course is so dark that we can't see what's happened, what's going on. It's just like flashing ambulance lights. What happened?
Yeah, I don't remember all of it. I just felt like on the bike, just really claustrophobic. I was not feeling good, and I started feeling dizzy. So I thought I just got to make it to where I know Jared is on course. So got round to where he was. He wasn't there, but there was a nice young man with a chair, and I literally got off my bike. I just said, "Can I sit on your chair for a little bit?" I just went down to the chair, my head went down, and same thing, looking up, like everyone was over me, and I think I passed out.
So were you on the chair or were you on the ground?
When I woke up I was on the ground, but I remember going down to the chair.
Do you have any idea what happened? Was it dehydration? Was it the heat? Heat exhaustion?
Yeah, I think it's confusing because I really thought I was a lot better, whereas last time I came here 2 years ago, I at least made it to the run. So actually it is getting worse, and I've put in so many different things to help it that I think my body is just dealing even worse with humidity. I'm honestly not sure many more things we could have done to put in to try and challenge this, but you only know when you do it. Hey, like this was a test. I could only test it in a race.
So when you're on the ground and you woke up and you came to it, do you remember, at that point, did you get your memory back and everything was clear, or were you still a bit dazed and out of it?
Yeah, I just remember having this massive headache, it just didn't feel too great. I remember going into the ambulance and having the ECG, and I think, just started coming a lot better after that.
We were talking on the commentary before the women's race, and we thought, this won't be as bad. It's cooling down out there. You know, the wind's not as crazy. We don't expect to see as much chaos. And then we saw more chaos, obviously culminating with what happened to you. Did the conditions, what were they when you were actually out there racing it? Was it just like 90% humidity and that was the problem?
Yeah, I just think like the air felt really thick, and maybe the wind dropping had a factor in that, especially when it got dark. I just felt like even on the second lap of the bike, like my hands were just all over the place in the bars, and my helmet was, just had sweat kind of dripping down, and I guess that was the thick air, just like, I couldn't stop sweating.
Was there a point at the race where you felt good and you were like, okay, I'm in this, I can see my path to the front of the race, or were you just no good from the start?
Yeah, definitely. Like the swim I was actually pleased with. I know that my run's going well, but the swim's always the thing that I'm questioning, and I've been feeling good. I did a bike race, been feeling good on the bike, so the swim was where I wanted the answers, and to come out on Danny's feet and with kind of Kat, Lucy, I thought this is the group that we need on the bike, then getting onto the bike, just for the watts that I was pushing out, my heart rate was just wild.
Was there a moment where things started going badly on the bike, where it sort of all came closing in on you, or was it like a slow progression until that point where ultimately you collapse on the ground?
Yeah, it was a pretty gradual, from the start I thought, I need to steady this because I need to control my heart rate, I need to finish this race. And I saw as well from the men's race, if you can survive the bike, I can pick off people on the run, I wasn't too worried about position. But no matter how much, towards the end that I was slowing down, like you said, my heart felt like it was just going wild and wild, every lap it was, creeping up.
Was it scary what happened? When you're in the moment, what's it like?
Yeah, I think it's just I am used to it, and I do know that I've fainted off the bike before, and I definitely didn't want that. I broke my clavicle. I had so much road rash. I definitely didn't want to come off the bike, but it's never. It's always that first bit as well when you come around and you open your eyes, because you can hear the voices first of all, and then you open your eyes and you're like, shit, where am I?
When you go into the ambulance, what's the rest of your night look like?
They took me to the hospital. was in the room in the hospital, and Jared thankfully came along, found me, and yeah, then it's more tests, talking through, like explaining to the guys the number of heart tests that I've had before, that my ECG always is abnormal, my blood pressure is always super low, my heart rate's super low, my blood volume is super low, like that's all totally normal for me, and that this kind of happens a lot, and trying to persuade the doctor that I don't need a brain scan, I don't need a chest scan. And in the end, yeah, they wanted to keep me overnight, and we actually discharged ourselves because I've had the specialists in South Africa, and I'd rather stick with one specialist than be going around the world, like, yeah, doing different things.
Singapore's next. Can you go and race Singapore that's even more humid, or is that just a race that to you basically can't exist?
Yeah, to me, I think that was always, Miami was the idea, was this was a stepping stone to eventually being able to do Singapore. This has given me like the feedback that I needed to know, and yeah, I got to now get my head down, and sometimes I think a little bit of heartbreak and a little bit of pain is good for you. I kind of like that little bit of to suffer inside, to know actually how much it means to me and how much you put into it, and I'm going to use that as, yeah, a good motivation for the next races after Singapore.
Because we've had yesterday, which obviously you don't score any points for, and then Singapore you don't have any points for, and then we've got 6 more races. Does the pressure build? Does it sort of feel like, okay, I really have to have good races every time I show up now, pretty much, if I want to, you know, be the world champion? Yeah,
100%. Like, now the pressure's on. I feel like everyone that bagged a good result yesterday, they kind of, yeah, they're on that high, and they can ride that, and you feel more comfortable. Sometimes you play a little bit better when you're more relaxed, and if the pressure's on and you know, like, I can't afford to have a bad one, then yeah, you got to learn to deal with that and make that up your game, and for my training it's definitely going to be good motivation.
Did you see yesterday as an opportunity, because Taylor Knibb, Annie Haug, Ash Gentle weren't there, the other ladies who could potentially, you know, outrun you, beat you at what you're good at? Did you go, hey, they're not here, this might be my chance?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's that thing of, it's nice that there's a 20-meter rule, because I think packs play maybe less of an impact, but still with this race it was maybe more of a swim bikers kind of field, whereas I reckon when you then get the Laura Phillips in and you get the Annie Haugs, like, potentially there's going to be more to kind of race around, like where I'm at in the field. But this is definitely a good race to see, okay, what can I do kind of in my own race, and if I have a solo day on the bike, how much can I run in, like you say. But yeah, I guess when they're all coming in back into this field, it's going to be, okay, how do I stand up against the best runners? And I think it's quite exciting for racing, because I think literally the field will be, the win could come from anywhere in the field.
Are there any other races that scare you? So obviously Singapore's a no-go, it's the most humid place on the planet, but are any of the other races potential danger zones for you?
I always think I've got stuff to work on. My descending, because when I passed out in Lanzarote, that was on a descent, so I kind of, yeah, I get nervous on the descent, so we're working technically on kind of skills on the bike, so that's for your Alcatraz, and hopefully that won't be wet. But yeah, I think, yeah, other than that, I gotta have no fear, because like you say, everyone now counts for me.
And is that when we'll see you next, at San Francisco?
Yeah, definitely. Alcatraz will be the next one.